and thanks for tuning in. As always, I'm Reverend JR. Today, we're going to be taking a look again at the missing dimension in sex. And this, my friends, if you are unfamiliar, it is a book whose sole purpose is to explain to you why marriage is appropriate, like with regard to the Bible and stuff. If you haven't caught the rest of this, I have a playlist going. You should really check it out. And we're kind of reading through the whole thing. We're not quite halfway there yet. So hopefully you'll find this as interesting as I do. And let's get down to business, starting on page 58 in my book, the chapter titled, Why Marriage? Now stop and think for a moment. Why did God ordain the human relationship of marriage? Well, again, I'm not sure that he did, but, let's go with that premise and see where it takes us. The old, repressive, dualistic morality taught that the only purpose of sex was reproduction. Well, that is kind of the only purpose, though. You can have fun with it, I guess, but the point remains, it is the primary function of it. But if merely reproducing their kind were the only purpose of sex, no marriage would be necessary. Right. That's why most animals don't do it. Some mate for life, not all of them. God made animals male and female. Except for the ones that, he didn't, I guess. Animals reproduce, but they do not marry. Well, again, some of them mate for life and some of them do not. They just don't need a ceremony for it to happen, I guess, is the idea. Marriage is not necessary to procreate. Correct. Realize this. Understand this truth. We can, through sex, have reproduction without marriage. Indeed, that is one of the world's greatest evils today. There is entirely too much reproduction without marriage. I'm not so sure that is an ill that befalls our generation. But again, this book is from, 60 years ago. Animals reproduce, but animals do not marry. This book likes to repeat itself a lot, by the way. Animals are born with instinct. So are humans. That's why you come out breathing, by the way. They need little or no teaching. Again, humans need more of it because we gestate longer. But humans also don't need that much of it just to survive and pass on their genes. I'm not even going to make any jokes about dumb people having babies. Come on. Ever seen a little calf born? The mother cow does not need to call an obstetrical physician or go to a hospital for the delivery of her calf. Right. Humans technically don't either. As soon as it is born, the calf will begin to stagger to its feet, while the cow just stupidly stands waiting. Yeah, for the most part. She does not need to teach her calf how to walk, how to take its food, how to do anything. True enough, I guess. A little wobbly and unsteady, the first 30, 60, or 90 seconds, the calf is up and walking in just a minute or two. It's true, they have much simpler brains than we do. Just a fact of biology, I guess. Now, how long does it take a human infant to learn to walk? Usually a year, and often more. That's because humans don't come out formed in quite the same way as cows do. If a cow wanted to walk on two legs, it would probably need more than 60 seconds, I reckon. But the newborn calf walks almost immediately. No one teaches it. Well, right, and no one teaches a baby how to cry, but it figures it out pretty quickly. The calf has instinct. Exactly like a human baby who wants to drink its mother's milk, for example. It has instinct. And where does it start walking? It has no instruction from anyone. Again, a human baby has no instruction to breathe, to cry, to try not to die. But it still does it. It starts walking for its first dinner. It knows where to go. Just like a human baby. It goes for the nipples. And the mother cow just stands stupidly still while her calf sucks its milk. I mean, it's not that simple really, but it's close enough, I guess. And where is Daddy, the bull? That's hard to say. Perhaps miles away. Right, the father doesn't give birth, he doesn't have to be right there the very second it happens. He probably is nowhere around, and soon the calf will not even need the milk from its mother, and will be on its own. Right, kinda like humans. There is no marriage, no family life, no home life. But with humans, this all is different. Sometimes. The purely reproductive process is the same in all mammals. Well, if you disregard the length of gestation and the physiology of, primates versus the other quadrupedal mammals, I guess, then yeah, you kind of got a point. It's all basically the same. But beyond this, all is different. The only purpose for sex in animals is reproduction, and humans are animals, so, it's the only purpose of it. You can have fun with it, you can do other things with it, but it is the only purpose of it, so to speak. But humans are different. No, we're not. There's no other way for a human to make a baby. Even all of your artificial stuff still requires a real sperm and a real egg, and the two of them meeting. Anyway, in humans, reproduction is not the only purpose of sex. Well, again, you can do it because it's enjoyable, or whatever. But the only actual purpose of it is to make babies. Is there anything else that happens when you have sex that doesn't involve, baby making? What else can you give birth to? What else is the outcome of getting pregnant? I'm curious. A second purpose is marriage. No, you mean one of the purposes of marriage is to have sex in humans. And there is yet a third purpose. Oh my. The newborn human does not get up and walk immediately to its food. Correct. Humans tend to crawl before they walk. The tiny baby is absolutely helpless. Correct. And this happens a lot in marsupials as well, oddly enough. But primates are a special class of mammal, and things work different for us than for the other ones that use all four of their limbs to get around. It has no instinct in the strict sense of the word. It has mind, but at birth there is no knowledge as yet in its mind. That's a terrible sentence. Anyway, reflect on the grammar. It knows virtually nothing at birth. It must be taught. Well, not really. It still knows that it needs its mother's milk. It still knows that it should try not to die. It still knows that yelling will get it attention and bring the humans, the big humans, to it, to take care of it. And those are all evolutionary traits that we've developed over the course of hundreds of thousands of years, being primates and working the way we do. It needs parents to teach it. It matures so very much more slowly than animals. Except, humans are. And the only reason we mature longer is because we have more things to develop as we are reaching maturity. Yet, its potentiality is infinitely higher. Not really. I don't even know what that sentence means, really. And for this higher purpose, parental guidance and family life are necessary. Kind of like other animals that live in packs and hunt and feed together and teach their young together. No, humans, we're the only ones. We're the only ones. For God had said, let us make man in our image. Who is ours? Anyway, was there more than one God, I wonder? We didn't actually get into that in this book yet. So, God was male and female, and that's why we're both in his image? But if you read Genesis 1 and 2, there's a lot of contradictions. I've brought this up before. I won't dwell on it long here. But in Genesis 1, Adam and Eve are made separately. In Genesis 2, Adam and Eve are made before everything else is created. Don't dwell on it too long. Don't dwell on it too long. God made cattle after their kind. After the cattle kind. Again, kinds are not well defined. Ken Ham blocked me on Twitter because he can't explain them either adequately. He also gets confused about this Genesis thing. He made every winged fowl after his kind. Don't forget, everyone, in the Bible, bats are birds. So bats can mate with birds. No, wait, they can't. They're actually mammals. They give birth like we do, not with hard eggs, and they don't have feathers. That kind of. Anyway, don't dwell on it too long. After the winged fowl kind, which really makes you wonder, are penguins fowl? I don't know. Weird. But he made man after the god kind. So wait a minute. We're actually gods, according to this guy. So what that means is, God also has children. God also bears offspring. God also feels pain like we do. And therefore, if we're on equal standing with God, then who is God's wife, exactly? Or do you suppose God doesn't have one? Weird. Maybe God has a lot of wives. But then if we're in God's image because we're his kind, does that mean we can breed with him in the afterlife? That's a really weird thought. Anyway, pulling back to the book here, that's actually, I think, where we're going to leave it today. We got 1.5 pages or so. This book is densely packed bullshit. It is hard to get through in one sitting. That's all you need to know about it. So anyway, that's going to be it for today. Wanted to make a short one, get back into the reading thing, see how this looks on camera. Maybe we can have a lot of fun. If you enjoyed that, please remember to click the subscribe button down below somewhere. If you want, share this video with people, get a conversation started. Maybe Ken Ham can finally answer my question. Maybe somebody else can finally answer my question about why mules exist, if evolution isn't true or something. Anyway, please be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know, do you agree, disagree, you want to hear more, want me to read more per video or something? I don't know. I've got a Patreon down below if you feel like giving me a few dollars, but don't do it if you can't afford it. I don't want your money that badly. I do have a regular job, but I'd love to do this full time. And as always, this has been Reverend JR, signing off.